Here's the number one skill that I want each Blazers rotation player to improve in the next month. This video is brought to you by BetUS. First, we're going to start with the bench players. Matisse Thybulle has been really solid so far this year. He's shooting 38% from 3, 47% from the field, and has made a lot of big-time defensive plays. Maybe this is a surprise, but the number one thing I want Thybulle to work on is staying in front of guards, because he can block a shot, he can get a big-time steal, he can get deflections. That's what he's known for. However, I would like him to be a little bit more solid defending the perimeter because he does have a tendency to get beat by quicker guards. Uprise has been thrust into the backup center role for the Blazers after Robert Williams III went down with a season-ending injury, and Reith has done a pretty solid job for a two-way player. He's hit the 3 at 35%, he can definitely score the ball. The number one thing I want him to work on is rebounding, because the Blazers are one of the poorest defensive rebounding teams in the league. According to dunksandthrees.com, the Blazers rank 28th in opponents' offensive rebounding percentage. They allow opponents to grab 28.9% of their offensive rebounds. Reith really struggles rebounding the ball for a center. I want him to work on that and hopefully improve. Jabari Walker has improved this season. However, his three-point shooting has not. He was looked at as a guy that could come into the league and knock down threes coming out of Colorado, and that simply has not played out. His rookie season, he shot 28.6% from three, and this season he's shooting 26.3%. If Walker could consistently knock down threes, I think he could be a legitimate role player in the league, but I truly think it does come down to just that. So it's pretty obvious what I want him to work on. He needs to work on that three-point shot. And the last bench rotation player we got is Scoot Henderson. Now, Scoot hasn't had the season that many envisioned of him so far this year, but he has steadily improved. There is a ton for him still to work on, but just like with Jabari Walker, I think the most important thing for Scoot Henderson is also his three-point shot. It'll make it a little bit easier for him to run the pick and roll if he's forcing defenders to go over screens instead of under. It'll also be easier for him to beat his man off the dribble one-on-one if his defender has to get out on him. Getting downhill and into the paint and collapsing the defense and spraying it out to shooters or finishing is what a lot of Scoot Henderson's potential is predicated on, and a big part of being able to do that is being able to get the defense guarding you 20 to 25 feet away from the rim. To do that, you got to be able to knock down threes. While Scoot's only shooting 22% from three, he has started to improve his three-point shot. He was 2 for 24 before going down with an ankle injury, and he's 7 for 17 since then. Before his injury, that's 8%. Since returning, 41%. While I don't think he's going to maintain that level of shooting at 41%, I think the goal for him should be around 33 to 34% for the rest of his rookie season. That might not be enough to get his defenders to fully respect him, but it's close enough that given some further improvement in the next couple of years, his three-point shot wouldn't be looked at as a liability. Before we take a look at the starters, shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this video. BetUS is a leading online betting platform offering a wide range of sports betting and casino games. One of the things they include is in-season tournament betting, which starts today. So if you want to pick a winner or the champion, you can do that with BetUS. BetUS has a reputation for reliability, security, and excellent customer service. And I have a link that will send you to betus.com where you can sign up, and that link will give you a 125% deposit match. That's $125 for a $100 deposit. Or if you deposit more, you get even more. They have all the popular sports. They got NFL, they got college football, NBA, college basketball, which is underway, as well as overseas basketball. They got whatever you want. So use that link, sign up for BetUS, get that deposit match, and you can start betting on all your favorite sports and games. Once again, shout out to BetUS. Now let's take a look at the starters. Malcolm Brogdon's a weird case because I feel like he hasn't been quite as good as people are acting like. He's having the most inefficient year of his career as he has a true shooting percentage of only 52.7%. That's because Brogdon is taking almost 2/3 of his shots from inside the arc, where he's shooting only 43.6%, which is also a career low. So the main thing for Brogdon to improve is his finishing at the rim and his mid-range. He needs to be more efficient inside the arc if he's going to take as many shots as he's taking. He's been fine from three, shooting 38.5%. He's run the offense pretty well. He's averaging 6.5 assists. It really just comes down to his shooting inside the arc. Toumani Camara has been my favorite story of the Blazers season. He's earned himself a starting small forward spot and is looking like a true steal at both the 52nd pick and in the DeAndre Ayton trade. His defense has been very impressive, and he started to attack the rim more aggressively aggressively. That is one of the main things I've wanted to see from Kamara because he's a terrific athlete and I've always felt like he could put a poster on someone. We finally saw him do that against Walker Kessler. Now I just think he needs to start hitting the 3-ball. He's been inconsistent and streaky from there this season, but he has shown promise as a shooter, and I think his form is pretty good. Right now, he's shooting 28% from behind the arc, but if he can get that up into the lower to mid 30s, then defenders start running out at him a little bit harder, and that allows him to dribble drive more, where I think he can truly make an impact on the offensive end. As far as DeAndre Ayton goes, I don't think he's lived up to the max contract that the Blazers willingly traded for in this past offseason. Toumani Camara makes that trade look better, and I would still do it because of Camara, but DeAndre Ayton has not played up to a max contract. And the main thing is he isn't aggressive enough. The one thing I want DeAndre Ayton to do is make an effort to be more aggressive on the offensive end, to attack, to finish stronger, to get to the free throw line more. He had that insanely low free throw rate to start the season where he shot like 3 free throws in his first 9 games. It was really bad. He has been getting to the free throw line a little bit more, but still not enough for a big athletic center like himself. For his career, Ayton only averages 2.5 free throw attempts per game in over 30 minutes per game. That's not enough. Ayton needs to be more aggressive. He also might need to shoot more threes. I don't know why he hasn't attempted a single 3 on the season, despite saying that's something he worked on a lot this past offseason. So the Ayton experiment has gone really weird. And I think he can start to turn that around by finally making a true effort to be more aggressive. Even if he ends up out of control, turning the ball over, this is a year for the Blazers to develop players, and that's the only way DeAndre Ayton is going to take the next step in his game, is by making a concerted effort to be aggressive. The number one thing for Jeremy Grant is obvious: rebounding. Averaging 3.8 rebounds per game as an athletic power forward is not enough. He is allergic to rebounds at times, it seems. The other thing I want to see him do is be more picky with the shots he shoots inside the arc. Much like Malcolm Brogdon, Jeremy Grant is just fine from behind the 3-point line. He's shooting over 41% from there, but he's only shooting 45% from 2. Now, he does get to the free throw line quite a bit from a lot of his drives, so the 45% number is fine if it's coupled with a bunch of free throw attempts. But there's times Jeremy Grant collapses 3 defenders onto him when he drives, and if he just made the right kickout pass, all of a sudden he'd be a terrific offensive player as a guy that can shoot threes, attack the rim, has length and size, and then can collapse the defense and pass out, kick out to shooters. I want to see Jeremy Grant make more of an effort to collapse the defense and then make the right kick out pass, because if he truly embraced becoming a passer, I don't know what level of vision he has, but I do think he could average like 4 assists a game because of how defenses react to him when he drives. The problem is, a lot of times he just puts his head down, gets some tunnel vision, and just tries to attack those 3 defenders, and a lot of times it goes poorly, and that explains his poor 2-point percentage. So collapsing the defense and kicking out a bit more is what I want to see from Jeremy Grant. And finally, Shaedon Sharpe, who has broken out this season and then gone through a little bit of a sophomore slump, and then the last 2 games has had 29 and 25 points respectively. I think Sharpe has finally gotten back on track, and these past 2 games might be the best 2-game stretch of his entire career. But much like Brogdon and Grant, he's also struggling from 2. He shot 56% from 2 last year and is only shooting 46% this year. That's a 10 percentage point decrease. According to Basketball Reference, Sharpe takes 18% of his shots from 3 to 10 feet and only shoots 36.5% from there. Sharpe needs to get better from that range. He needs to use more of his floater, which I think looks pretty good, and he's converted on at a decent rate when he's gone to it. But a lot of times Sharpe just tries to throw himself into traffic, throw himself into shot blockers when he doesn't really have an angle, and ends up forcing up some bad layups. I think that's part of the reason why his finishing from 0 to 3 feet has declined from 71% last year to 60% this year. However, that's still a decent rate, and he's still getting to the free throw line more than he did last year. So attacking the rim, I think, is fine. It's just that in-between game where he can go to a floater from 3 to 10 feet and convert enough of them to make defenses pay, because at this point, shot blockers just wait for him at the rim and try and match him vertically. He needs something to counter that, and that's that floater game from 3 to 10 feet. So the number one thing I want to see Shaedon Sharpe work on is a floater. Anyway, that wraps everything up. Let me know what skills you want to see Portland Trail Blazers players work on in the next month. Once again, shout out to BetUS for sponsoring this video. In-season tournament starts today, so use that link at the top of the description box below for 125% deposit match. With that being said, I'm out of here. I'll catch you next time. Until then, as always, peace out. Go Blazers.